Okay, Mike Masato back with you again, CEO of Staff Driven Dental and the Dental Road Warrior for episode 4. More on staff. I think I said last time when I wrapped up my last video, I know I'd think of some more things on staff, and I had an interesting scenario come up at a Lunch and Learn the other day, which made me think about what I really want to talk about next. So interesting phenomenon happens a lot when I do a Lunch and Learn, that I sit down with the doctor and sit down with the staff, and we spend about a couple hours speaking about the practice and concerns and needs for growth and improvement. It's a great conversation. Inevitably, the Lunch and Learn will end. The doctor has to run in and get ready for his patients, leaving me with the staff for a bit. And often I'm just immediately surrounded by the staff to talk to me about their concerns about the doctor. As a leader and as a manager and owner in the practice, they all say he's got to change, he's got to improve. We all want it. We want things to be better. He can't keep doing things this way. We can't keep going this way. People are at their wits' end, etc. What are they really telling me? They're really telling me that it's not so much their job they don't like, it's really their boss, meaning you, doc, the manager, the owner there, the leader in the practice. And I want to thank my friend Howard Ferran for this one, he posts a statistic about people on their jobs, and 75% of people by statistical survey leave their jobs because not because they don't like the job, it's because they can't take their boss. And that means you, the boss. You guys need to work on your leadership and management and ownership skills as a CEO and a COO of your practice. And this is what drives away good people. Because really, staff fall in 3 categories, if you really want to break it down. Number 1 being the willing, and all you have with your staff is their willingness. Once you've lost that, you've lost everything. So if you don't have willing staff in your practice, what does that mean? Willing to produce, willing to comply, willing to play the game, willing to improve, willing to do what you ask them to do on a day-to-day basis, willing to help you succeed. You don't have willing staff, you've got nothing. And that's the most important thing, the aspect of staff. They're willing to be a part of the team and do what they need to do for you to the best of their ability, day in and day out. So willingness is key. All right. However, staff can fall into 2 other categories. One step below willingness is the defiant negative staff person. All right. I've seen a lot of this, not often, but it's out there enough. When you have in these Lunch and Learns, when I get into a practice, we might find it a little more frequently once we get to know the practice. But basically, a defiant negative person is, again, a person who's resisting. They're oppositional to you, the practice goals, your methodology, the way you want to do things, the way others want to do things. They're fighting you, and they're at odds. It's resistance. It's counter intention, counter purpose to what you want to achieve in the practice. And these people in the practice, they don't rehabilitate. I don't mean go to therapy, okay? I mean get better. It means you can talk to them, you can sit with them, you can bring consulting help in with them. You can't fit that square peg into a round hole when you get a defiant, negative person in the practice. And this brings the whole place down. It brings morale down, which affects productivity. It drives away good staff. It drives away your patients. It affects your service in the practice, everything. So again, stop trying to work with defiant, negative people. It doesn't work. They immediately need to be let go and move on. Now, there is a worst category, believe it or not, of staff, and that's the criminal. And I've seen a few of these in my day. And I don't mean these are people that are actually directly, covertly ripping you off by taking insurance checks and cashing them, or pocketing your money, things like that, which I've seen that as well too. But I'm also talking about the people that are just, I call them black holes of money in the practice. It means their presence, there's just such a negative drain in the practice because of how bad they are in terms of how they relate to people, your staff, and you, that because they don't want to do the job. They're worse than defiant. You're paying them to do you in, basically, and to destroy goodwill in the practice and drive away good staff members and drive away patients and just be negligent on their job, whether it's on texting all day long, internet all day long, social media all day long, whatever it is. They're not there for you, they're there for themselves, and you're paying for this. You are paying your good money to have them bring down your numbers and destroy your practice. Again, the defiant negative, the criminals, don't work in practices. That's obvious. It should be obvious. And yet, I've seen time and time again doctors trying to work around these people because they've been there for a long time and they look for their good qualities in these people. Sure, nobody's wholly evil. in the practice. However, all right, they all have some qualities, but you have to go get the best of the best. Don't you want the best of the best when you're putting together a team? All right, and it takes work. It takes some time. It takes some leadership and attention on wanting to develop and put together a team like this. It doesn't always come together by accident. Sometimes you get lucky and it does, but it's all how you recruit people. It's how you integrate them, train them, and bring them together. So that's why it's so important. So again, Doc, as a leader in your practice, remember, they're not leaving probably because of the job. They're maybe leaving because of you. And you need to improve yourself and your skill set in doing this. I know you don't go to school for this. They don't teach this in dental school. This is the kind of stuff you find out through the School of Hard Knocks by trial and error out there when it comes to your staff. But I can tell you, you want willing people, all right? And again, you can't hammer these people. If you got willing people, build them up, support them, train them, give them the skills and the resources to succeed on your behalf. You know, throwing people out there and say, hey, you're on the job, go to it. That's how most office managers, come to be. I always ask, who's your office manager here? And every good practice, by the way, needs a great quarterback. I call him, or point person. I call him a rainmaker, a person who makes money happen in the practice, closing cases, filling a schedule, keeping staff motivated, having you keep on your toes. Right? I always ask about how these managers come to be. A lot of times I ask, who's the official manager here? And people, they say, well, I guess I am. Because, I go, was there an official ceremony? Most of the time, how does someone become an office manager? The doctor walks up to the front desk person one time and says, hey, you've been here for the longest. You put up with the most crap, so you're the office manager. And there's a blessing like that. All right? And that's it. And now you go to it. You're on the job. No training, no other development. They're just supposed to do the job and win and succeed for you. Okay? Can't do this. Can't be on autopilot when it comes to your team. Don't take them for granted. They're the most valuable resource you have. Invest in them. And I don't mean just putting money into them. Time and attention. It's important. It's not enough that you pay them. All right? Go back to my last video when I talk about appreciation, acknowledgement, and security. All right. Well, I hope this video you enjoyed it. This installment here of the Dental Road Warrior. I'll be back before you know what episode 5. Again, some more follow-up words of wisdom on staff. I'm sure it's the last time I'll be talking about staff.